Robin Hood Radio presents the commentary of Don Morrison. Don is a former editor at Time magazine. He's an author, lecturer, and member of the Berkshire Eagle Advisory Board.
In 1971, a tobacco company lawyer named Lewis Powell wrote a memo for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Free enterprise, he warned, was under attack. Consumer advocates had just forced new safety rules on cars and cigarettes. Civil rights and labor activists were winning lawsuits all over the place. He said business should spend money to influence Congress, the press, and especially the judiciary. A year later, Richard Nixon appointed Powell to the Supreme Court. Thus began a major transformation of the justice system. Over the next 3 decades, Republican presidents made 13 appointments to the court versus 4 for the Democrats. Many of those GOP judges were groomed by the pro-business Federalist Society, and they repaid the favor. They gave corporations the right to influence elections, thwart regulation, make life harder for unions and minorities. That campaign's about to see its biggest triumph. Amy Coney Barrett seems headed for confirmation. That would give conservatives an impossible 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. She'll, no doubt, vote to end Obamacare, advance the GOP's pro-business agenda, keep Donald Trump in office. She'll do this in the name of a Federalist Society theory called originalism. That's a fancy word for saying the Constitution is set in cement. Shouldn't be used to help the less fortunate. Originalism is popular with business interests, and they've been lobbying hard for Barrett's confirmation. The goal is not just to control the court, but to save the Republican Party from oblivion. It's long been the party of business, and today it depends on the votes of rural white conservatives. But Americans are increasingly urban, non-white, not conservative. And they mostly don't like Republican policies on guns, abortion, corporate tax cuts, immigration, climate change. Republicans don't want to change these policies, so to survive, they're using other things: voter suppression, gerrymandering, the rural bias of the Senate, and the Electoral College. And, of course, the judiciary. If Republicans can pack the federal courts with enough conservative judges, they can block almost any attempt to curb their power and inconvenience their business benefactors. Polls show most Americans don't like this idea, and definitely don't think a new Supreme Court justice should be chosen so close to an election. Republicans don't care. They may never win a popular vote again. Their goal is to get firm control of our judiciary. Then they can rule forever. I'm Don Morrison.
Don Morrison is an author and editor. He's taught at universities in the United States, Europe, and Asia. He's the European editor of the British magazine Port and a member of the Berkshire Eagle Advisory Board. He lives in Paris, Miami, and in Berkshire County.